Kaito finished his night shift at the convenience store. The rain had turned the curb into a dark mirror. Something heavy lay in the gutter. He picked it up, a thick leather wallet, soaked but bursting.
2 million yen. And a business card? Who drops this?
Kaito? What's that? No way. You could pay off all your debts with that. No one saw you. No one would know. Just keep it. It's fate, man.
If I keep it, Aoi's treatment could start tomorrow. But if I don't, what kind of brother am I?
Look, I get it. But her medical bills are crushing you. This is a gift.
No, I can't. Someone is probably panicking right now. I have to return it.
Tanaka scoffed, but Kaito was already walking out into the rain, the address on the card burning in his pocket. The neon signs blurred behind him. He had no idea that the curb where he found it was the beginning of everything. The walk to his apartment felt like miles. The wallet in his pocket was a cold, impossible weight. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of medicine. Aoi lay curled on a thin futon, her breathing shallow.
These bills. 2 million yen would erase them overnight. But Mom and Dad's voice is still in my head. Never touch what isn't yours.
His hand drifted toward the wallet. Just a peek. Just to see it one more time.
No. If I open it, I'll lose. I have to go. Now.
He shoved the wallet into his jacket, grabbed his car keys, and stepped back into the rain.
Aoi, wait for me. I'll fix this.
The old car groaned to life. The windshield wipers fought a losing battle against the storm, but his hands were steady on the wheel. He had a destination and a reason. After 2 hours of rain and twisting hills, the mansion rose before him like a fortress from another century. 2 bodyguards in black suits blocked the gate, sunglasses hiding their eyes despite the dark.
I found this wallet. The business card led me here. I just want to return it.
Wait. The guard murmured into his earpiece. Then, with a low hum, the gate began to slide open. Beyond, an elderly man in a midnight blue kimono appeared at the doorway, leaning on a cane.
You actually came here with the wallet?
Kaito stepped forward and held out the wallet with both hands, rain dripping from his uniform.
Yes, sir. Everything is still inside. I didn't touch any of it.
2 million yen. And you drove through a storm to return it? Why? You look exhausted, and you clearly don't have much. Why return it?
Because it wasn't mine. I just did what anyone should do.
Haruki gestured weakly, and a guard stepped forward, placing a heavy envelope in his hand.
Take this. A small reward. You've earned it.
That much. It could cover all of Aoi's treatments. But I can't accept this. I didn't do it for money. Please, excuse me.
He bowed deeply, his uniform plastered to his skin, then turned and walked away without a backward glance.
Follow him, discreetly. I want to know everything about that young man.
The guard melted into the shadows, while Haruki remained at the gate, the rain blurring his silhouette. For the first time in 15 years of searching, Haruki allowed himself a flicker of quiet hope. Kaito stumbled through the door at dawn. Aoi was awake, sobbing, her small body trembling in pain.
Big brother, it hurts so much. Make it stop.
He gently lifted her head to adjust the pillow and froze. His palm came away wet and dark.
Blood. No. No, no. Not now. Not her.
He carried her to the car and drove like a man possessed, the city still asleep. At the hospital, the doctor pulled him aside. The words landed like hammer blows. Her condition has accelerated. There is a new treatment. But the cost. Without it, she has maybe 6 months.
Big brother, I'm sorry. I'm such a burden.
Don't you ever say that? I'll find a way. I swear it.
But as he walked out of the room, the weight of the wallet he didn't take pressed harder than ever. He sat in the cold corridor, head in hands, the silence pressing in like a verdict.
2 million yen. I could have saved her. Was I a fool? But if I kept it, I wouldn't be the brother she deserves.
His phone buzzed. Tanaka, he answered, bracing for more bad news.
Kaito, the landlord evicted you. He changed the locks. All your stuff is trapped inside.
What? Now? I can't. Aoi's in the hospital. I can't leave her.
I'm sorry, man. I tried to stall him. You need to figure something out fast.
The line went dead. Kaito stared at the phone, then at the door to Aoi's room.
No home, no money, no way to save her. What did I do?
He slid down the wall, burying his face in his hands. For the first time, he let the tears fall. 3 days later, Kaito stood behind the register, hollowed out. The fluorescent lights buzzed like accusation. A long black sedan glided to the curb. Tinted windows. No sound. Just purpose. The bell chimed. 2 men in black suits walked in, their presence swallowing the small store.
Kaito, you need to come with us. Mr. Haruki has asked for you personally.
Why? Did I do something wrong? The wallet, I returned everything, I swear.
He didn't say, but he's not the kind you keep waiting.
My sister is in the hospital. Please, just 5 minutes. I have to say goodbye.
We'll drive you there first, but make it quick.
They led him to the sedan. The leather seat was cold. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. As the engine hummed to life, Kaito stared at the store dissolving in the rain. He couldn't shake the feeling it was the last time he'd see it. The sedan pulled into the hospital parking lot. The guards stayed in the car, their faces unreadable. Kaito pushed open the door to Aoi's room. She was awake, her eyes already wet.
Aoi, I have to go away. I might not come back. I am so sorry.
No, don't leave me. I'll be good, I promise. Please.
Be brave for me. No matter what happens, you're the best part of my life.
A guard appeared at the doorway, tapping his watch. Kaito closed his eyes, memorizing her touch. He pulled away. Aoi's hand stretched out, small and trembling, reaching for him as he walked backward. He collapsed into the sedan's back seat, the hospital shrinking in the rain-smeared window. No one spoke. The guards offered nothing. No threats, no comfort, just the hum of the engine eating miles.
Aoi? Will I ever see you again? What have I gotten myself into?
The sedan glided to a stop. The great black gate swung inward without a sound. A guard gestured forward. Kaito followed, his footsteps muffled by thick carpet. They entered a study that smelled of old books and tea. Haruki waited behind a desk like a throne. Kaito stopped. Haruki's eyes were sharp, unreadable, like a blade hidden in silk.
Sit.
Is this an interrogation? A judgment? What does he see when he looks at me?
He lowered himself into the chair, his back straight, his pulse deafening. The room was still. Only the faint tick of a clock challenged the silence. Haruki placed his hands on the desk and simply looked at him as if weighing his soul. The quiet was worse than any question. It pressed on his chest, heavy and suffocating.
When you returned my wallet, you were trembling. Not from fear, from hunger. Why didn't you take the reward?
My little sister, Aoi. She's dying. The bills are destroying me, but I couldn't take what wasn't mine.
I know about Aoi. I've had you followed since you left my gate. I've seen everything.
He followed me? Then he knows how desperate I am. What does he want from me?
I run several charitable foundations. I need someone to manage the newest one from the ground up. No special treatment.
You're offering me a job? But I'm just a convenience store clerk. I don't have any qualifications.
Integrity is the rarest qualification. Aoi's medical bills will be covered by the Foundation's insurance. Start tomorrow.
He slid a contract across the desk. Kaito's hand trembled as he reached for it, a single tear dropping onto the paper.
Thank you. I don't know why you're doing this, but I'll work until I drop. I swear it.
Just don't disappoint me. Dismissed.
The next morning, Kaito stood before the Foundation's modern glass office, the contract a lifeline in his pocket.
So you're the one my uncle plucked from nowhere. Follow me.
Her smile was a blade wrapped in silk. Rika, the deputy director and Haruki's niece, did not hide her scorn.
This is your desk. Don't ask for a better one. You earn it. And don't touch anything without my approval.
She hates me already. Why? I haven't even done anything yet.
He watched her stride away, heels clicking like a countdown. The other staff averted their eyes.
They're all too afraid to even look at me. This place is a cage.
Rika's words echoed, "You earn it." The test had already begun, and he had no idea.
I didn't come here to make friends. I came for Aoi. Whatever she throws at me, I'll take it.
He opened the first file, his hands steady. But the cold silence of the office promised a long road ahead. Weeks blurred together. Kaito became the office ghost, first to arrive, last to leave. He slept curled under his desk more often than in a bed, saving every yen for Aoi's care.
Every application, every number, I've checked them twice. She won't find a single error.
Each evening he called the hospital, his voice forced into hope as Aoi's whispered replies grew thinner.
The doctors say the new treatment is working. Just hang on a little longer. Aoi, I'm coming.
A few colleagues began to soften. A cup of coffee left on his desk. A nod of acknowledgement.
This grant rejection, you were too lenient. We don't fund sob stories. Redo it by morning.
There was nothing wrong with my review. She just wants to break me. I can't let her win.
The corrections were minor, but the message wasn't. One mistake, and he'd be out. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, indifferent. Rika's shadow moved behind the glass, watching. The next afternoon, the main door swung open and silence swept the floor. Haruki had arrived.
Kaito, walk with me.
They strolled through the cubicles, eyes following them. Rika's pen snapped in her grip.
The donation numbers are improving. Fewer errors than I expected. How are you managing?
I'm just doing what's necessary. There are challenges, but I won't let you down.
Challenges are the forge of character. Keep that spine straight.
Rika's glare cut across the room, her jaw tight. She had seen her uncle's rare smile. Later, as Kaito hunched over a stack of finalized grant applications, a shadow fell over him. A full cup of coffee tipped, dark liquid flooding the ink. Rika's gasp was theatrical.
Oh dear, how clumsy of you. Those were the original copies. I hope you have backups.
Re-entering the ruined data, Kaito traced a recurring outflow, too large, too regular, to a non-beneficiary account.
Monthly transfer. Same amount. No project attached. This doesn't look right.
He cross-referenced the ledger. Every month, like clockwork, a shadow drained Foundation funds. He walked to Rika's office, his heart thudding against his ribs. The door was ajar.
Deputy Director, I noticed an account that receives monthly transfers without any grant file. Could you clarify?
That's a standard operational fund. Routine. Don't overstep your boundaries, new boy.
Her words were casual, but her knuckles went white on the armrest. A flicker of something guarded.
Standard fund, but no one else references it. She's hiding something. I need to see the full records.
He sat back down, the screen's glow a cold invitation. The real ledger was hidden somewhere, he would find it. Whatever game Rika was playing, Kaito was done being the pawn. He began digging into the Foundation's encrypted files. At midnight, the office was a tomb. Kaito sat before a terminal, the only light from the screen.
If anyone finds me here, I'm finished. But I have to know the truth.
Using a password he'd lifted from Rika's calendar, he breached the encrypted financial partition. Hidden ledgers unfolded. The monthly transfers weren't operational, they were theft. Bank records flashed a name, Rika Haruki. The account was personal, funneling millions.
She's been siphoning Foundation money for years. This is criminal.
He inserted a flash drive and began copying every file, his heart pounding in the silence. The progress bar crawled. 30%, 70%, 100%. Evidence secured.
This flash drive is enough to destroy her. But how do I use it without destroying myself?
He pocketed it and slipped out, the burden of truth heavier than any wallet he'd ever carried. The next morning, Kaito walked straight to Rika's office. The flash drive burned in his pocket.
Deputy Director, I found the hidden accounts. Your personal account is draining Foundation funds.
Those are fabricated. Breaking into confidential files is grounds for termination or worse.
He held up the flash drive. Her smirk didn't fade, but her eyes tightened.
If you take that to my uncle, I'll frame you for the theft. A clerk with no alibi, who will they believe?
She's serious. She could twist everything. And Aoi, if I'm in prison, she dies alone.
Your sick little sister won't survive without you. Think carefully before you throw your life away.
I won't let you destroy this foundation. I'll face whatever comes, but I'll do what's right.
The air froze. Two wills locked like swords in the silence. Kaito turned and left. The flash drive clutched tight. The real fight was only beginning. Within an hour, Rika stood before Haruki in his study, a folder of doctored ledgers trembling in her hands.
Uncle, I uncovered something terrible. That clerk you hired? Kaito is embezzling from the Foundation.
Haruki's face hardened into disbelief. He snatched the papers, scanning the forged numbers.
This can't be. I trusted that boy. Are you certain these records are authentic?
I found them myself. I'm sick with worry. You should call him in immediately before more damage is done.
Kaito's desk phone rang, shattering the quiet of the Foundation office. He picked it up, already knowing.
Yes, sir. I'll come right away. She already told him. I'm walking into a trap, but I have no choice. Aoi, forgive me if I don't return.
He grabbed his jacket and strode out, leaving behind a desk that suddenly felt like a crime scene. The sedan pulled away, carrying him toward a confrontation where the truth was the only shield he had left. Kaito stepped into the study. Haruki was already seated. The forged documents spread before him like an accusation.
I didn't want to believe it, Kaito, but these numbers explain this.
Sir, those are fabricated. I have real evidence Rika is the one stealing from the Foundation.
Enough, I trusted you and you repay me with lies. There is no evidence that can excuse this.
His voice was ice. The gentle hope that had flickered in his eyes was gone.
He won't even listen. The flash drive is useless now.
You are suspended, effective immediately. An investigation will follow. Leave your badge.
Kaito placed his employee ID on the desk. The flash drive burned in his clenched fist. He turned and walked out. The heavy door closed behind him with a final, muted thud. Outside, the path to the gate stretched empty. He walked it alone, head bowed. Kaito forced a smile as he entered Aoi's hospital room. She was awake, her pale hand reaching for him.
I had a little trouble at work, Aoi. I need to take a break for a while. But don't worry.
It's my fault, isn't it? You lost your job because of me. I'm just a burden.
Never say that. You're the only reason I keep fighting. None of this is your fault.
He squeezed her hand, but his gaze was distant. The truth was a stone in his throat.
This flash drive. It's the only thing that can clear my name. But how do I get it to Haruki?
He stood, promising to return tomorrow. Aoi watched him with wet, trusting eyes.
I won't let her down. I'll find a way to expose Rika, even if I have to break every rule.
In the hallway, the fluorescent light flickered. The flash drive felt like a ticking bomb in his pocket. But this time, despair was a luxury he couldn't afford. He had a sister to save and a thief to stop. The mansion's side gate, used by staff, was unguarded at this hour. Kaito slipped through like a ghost.
I memorized the patrol routes from my first visit. The study's server terminal is my only chance.
He ducked into a side office, the terminal humming in sleep mode. A guest login still worked. The flash drive slid home. A text file appeared. For Haruki. The real thief is inside your blood.
He'll see it in the morning. If he's still the man I think he is, he'll look.
He pulled out the drive and retreated, heart hammering. The hallway was still clear. He almost made the door. A hand clamped onto his shoulder.
Breaking and entering is a serious crime. You're coming with us.
They stripped the flash drive from his pocket like seizing a weapon. Kaito didn't resist. But the evidence was already on Haruki's server. The only question now, would he believe it? The guards pushed Kaito into the study. Haruki, in a silk robe, looked more exhausted than angry.
Breaking into my home? This better be life or death, Kaito.
It is. The real embezzlement records are on your server. I uploaded them tonight. Please, just check.
Haruki held his gaze for a long moment. Then, slowly, he turned to his terminal. A few keystrokes, and a folder appeared. Urgent. Foundation audit. He opened it. Spreadsheets and bank records filled the screen. Rika's name flashed in the memo columns. The lines on his face deepened. His jaw tightened like a steel trap. He placed the flash drive on the desk, his voice dangerously calm.
My own niece. She lied to my face.
Kaito stood frozen, unsure if the ice in Haruki's eyes was meant for Rika or for him. Haruki didn't waste a breath. He snapped his fingers at a guard.
Get my niece now. Wake her if you must.
A few tense minutes later, Rika entered, hair disheveled, still wearing her silk pajamas.
Uncle? What's this about? Why is he here?
Don't. I've seen the real ledgers. The ones with your name all over them.
No, I can explain. It's not what it looks like. I was going to pay it back.
For years you drained the foundation meant to help the helpless. You are no longer a Haruki.
Security moved in. Rika's pleas shifted to screams as they pulled her up.
You'll regret this. He's nothing. I'll bury you both.
The door slammed, and the study fell into a suffocating stillness. Haruki didn't look at Kaito. Finally, Haruki exhaled, the weight of decades pressing on his shoulders. He turned, his eyes wet but steady.
I owe you an apology. I doubted you, but the truth is, you passed a test I've been running for 15 years.
From the drawer, he pulled a thin folder labeled Successor Observations. Inside were photos, reports Kaito's own face among them.
The wallet wasn't lost, I placed it. A dozen candidates took the cash. Only you drove through a storm to return it. Integrity like that is rare. But integrity alone isn't enough. I need to see if you have the skill to lead. You're reinstated. As a trainee executive, Aoi's treatment is fully covered. Prove yourself, and maybe one day you'll take my place.
Kaito's knees buckled. He didn't try to hide the tears spilling down his cheeks.
Don't cry now. Save your energy. The real work begins tomorrow.
I won't let you down. I'll never forget this. Any test you throw at me, I'll pass.
He walked out of the study, the promise of a future finally in his grasp. But the biggest test was yet to come. Aoi's new treatment began immediately. Within weeks, color returned to her cheeks and her laughter filled the room.
With Aoi safe, I can finally focus. I'll make this foundation the best it's ever been.
He threw himself into the work, streamlining grant processes, forging partnerships, cutting waste. The staff, once distant, began to trust him. He was the first to arrive and the last to leave. Even the board members who had doubted him couldn't deny the results.
Haruki still hasn't said a word to me, just watches from his study. What's he waiting for?
The quarterly board meeting was frosty. Kaito's proposals were met with folded arms and sharp questions. One veteran director scoffed. A former clerk leading a foundation? Let's see if he survives the next audit.
They see a convenience store clerk, but I'll prove them wrong. Just wait.
Haruki attended, but said nothing. His silence was heavier than any criticism. As Kaito left the meeting, he knew he was still an outsider. But results were the only argument that mattered. The following Monday, a guard summoned Kaito back to the study. Haruki was not alone.
Kaito, meet Sho. He passed the wallet test last month. From now on, you both will train under my direct oversight.
I've heard nothing but praise about your integrity, Kaito. I'm honored to stand beside you.
Another candidate? So the tests will continue. And this guy, he's too smooth.
There's a major project, a national welfare partnership. The one who secures the deal will prove worthiness to the board.
The weight of the announcement settled like frost. Sho's smile never wavered, but his eyes calculated.
May the best man win. I'm eager to see your approach, Kaito.
He's dangerous. But I have Aoi to fight for. I can't lose to a man like him. I won't hold back. I'll give everything I have for the Foundation and my family.
Haruki nodded slowly. The real test had just begun, and only one would emerge as the true successor. The partnership with the Foreign Charity Network became an obsession for both trainees. Late nights blurred into early mornings. Kaito cultivated relationships with senior officials through genuine respect and tailored proposals.
These officials were cordial, but suddenly they're avoiding my calls. Someone poisoned the well.
Sho had been hosting private dinners with Kaito's contacts, presenting their ideas as his own.
You stole my connections. That partnership was based on my trust with them.
Business is business, Kaito. If you can't protect your contacts, they aren't yours.
He admits it without shame. Should I report him? But what would Haruki think?
We both know the board wants a winner. Play fair and you'll lose your sister's future.
If I stoop to his level, I become him. But if I don't, Aoi might suffer.
The line between right and necessity had never been thinner. Kaito stared at his phone, the weight of the flash drive echoing again.
No, I won't become him. I'll win the right way, or not at all.
He buried his doubts and crafted a proposal that didn't just promise efficiency, it promised humanity.
Director, I apologize for the confusion earlier. Here's the vision I shared from the start, unchanged.
Across the room, Sho's charm was wearing thin. Partners began avoiding his calls, citing aggressive demands. A formal complaint landed on Haruki's desk. Mr. Sho's approach lacks respect for the communities we serve. Haruki filed it without comment, but his next meeting was scheduled with Kaito alone. Kaito flew to the charity's headquarters in Geneva. His presence was not a sales pitch, it was a handshake. The international network officially announced the partnership, citing Kaito's unwavering integrity and deep understanding of their mission.
We did it. Aoi. I did it the right way.
Sho watched from his cubicle, his ambition crumbling. Integrity had won, but the final verdict was still Haruki's alone to give. The next morning, Shu was summoned to the study. Haruki's voice carried no warmth.
Your contract is terminated. You failed every metric that matters. Leave.
Sho opened his mouth, but a guard stepped forward. He was led out without a single question answered. Minutes later, Kaito was ushered in. The room still felt cold, but Haruki's eyes held a different light.
Sho was never a real candidate, Kaito. He was my plant, another ring of the same test.
You meant he was a test all along? Even when he tried to sabotage me?
I needed to see how you'd face a rival who played dirty. You passed, Kaito. You remained you.
He was always testing me. Even my worst moment was designed. But does this mean it's finally over?
Don't mistake my praise for a final verdict. You've proven your integrity, but the board still needs conviction.
Kaito bowed and left, the puzzle of his life still missing one piece. But for the first time, it felt like hope. Months slipped by. Kaito took the reins of the foundation so naturally that even the skeptical directors fell silent. The day Aoi was discharged, the sun broke through the clouds as if the world had been waiting for her.
Big brother, is this really ours? It's so bright, and it smells like flowers.
It's ours. No more hospital nights. We're going to live like normal people from now on.
That evening, they cooked together for the first time in years. The kitchen was small, but it felt like a palace.
I'm going to study so hard, Big brother. I want to become a doctor and help people like us.
She's so strong now. But what if Haruki doesn't make a decision? This life could still be taken away.
He hid the thought behind a gentle laugh. But at night, staring out the window, the weight of the unfinished test returned.
Whatever comes, I'll protect this. I'll wait for his answer, no matter how long it takes.
The new normal was fragile, built on patience and hope. But for the first time, they had a home worth protecting. The call came on a still, gray evening. Kaito arrived at the mansion to find Haruki propped in his chair, a wool blanket over his knees.
He's lost weight since last month. The cane seems heavier in his grip now.
My doctors say I don't have much time left. I must settle this inheritance before I'm gone. Kaito, I've asked many things of you, but now I ask honestly, why do you want to succeed me?
I don't care about the fortune or wealth. I want to protect what you built, a way to give people the chances I never had.
A fragile smile crossed Haruki's face. He reached under the blanket and drew out a thick, sealed envelope.
This is your final test. Take it home. Open it with Aoi. What's inside will shape everything.
Kaito's fingers closed around the envelope. It was heavier than any wallet he had ever carried.
One last test. Will it finally end the waiting, or destroy the life we've managed to build?
He bowed and left, the envelope clutched to his chest, his heart drumming a question only Aoi could help him answer. Kaito stepped into the apartment, the envelope like a stone in his coat. Aoi sat up, her book forgotten.
Big brother, you look like you've seen a ghost. What is that?
Haruki's final test. He said to open it with you. Whatever is inside, it will decide everything.
With shaking hands, he tore the seal. Inside lay a handwritten letter and a single piece of paper that gleamed in the lamplight. Your final test is not about business. It's about sacrifice. Enclosed is a bank check for 500 million yen. Use it however you wish, but know that if you use it for yourself, you fail. I trust you.
500 million. That's enough to disappear forever. We could never worry again.
If I take this money, I fail the man who saved us. But if I return it, what then?
We don't need it. You've already proven yourself 100 times over. Whatever you decide, I'm with you.
Kaito nodded, but the weight of the check seemed to grow heavier in the silence. The biggest decision of his life now rested in his hands. The next morning, the check still lay on the table, an impossible figure. Kaito had made his decision.
Aoi, I'm going to donate it. Every yen to the Foundation's medical fund in Haruki's name.
That's my big brother. I am proud of you.
At the Foundation office, Kaito walked past the staff to the donation desk, the check folded in his pocket.
I want to make an anonymous donation. 500 million yen for the medical fund.
The clerk's eyes widened, but Kaito simply slid the check across the counter, his expression calm. He left no name, only a note, in honor of Haruki, who taught me that integrity is everything.
He may never know I passed, But that doesn't matter. I did it for the people who need it most.
The days that followed were quiet. No call came from the mansion. The silence was heavy with waiting. Kaito folded the empty envelope and placed it in a drawer. Whatever came next, he knew his soul was intact. Weeks passed in quiet. Then, on a crisp morning, the call arrived. Haruki's voice was steady, stronger than Kaito had ever heard. When Kaito arrived, Haruki stood by the window, no Kane in sight, his face alight with a joy Kaito had never seen.
I just received a donation report. 500 million yen anonymous, but I know only one man with that kind of integrity.
He knows. After everything, he still saw through me.
You passed, Kaito. Not just my tests, you passed the test of who you are. That note written in honor of me.
Haruki's voice broke as he stepped forward and pulled Kaito into a firm embrace, the first since they'd met.
You are my true successor. No more conditions. I'm proud to call you my heir.
He placed a heavy hand on Kaito's shoulder and looked him in the eye with a fatherly pride.
The adoption papers are signed, but the public announcement will be at the Foundation's Grand Gala next month.
Kaito could only nod, tears streaming. At last, the waiting was over, but the biggest moment still lay ahead. 5 years rippled forward like a quiet river. The foundation grew, and Kaito grew with it. He stood at podiums, signed grants, and visited hospitals with the same quiet resolve he'd worn as a clerk. Aoi, now a young woman, crossed the stage in her cap and gown, a merit scholarship in her hand.
I made it, big brother. Next stop, medical school? I'm going to be the doctor who saves everyone.
The foundation expanded across borders, its name synonymous with integrity, a legacy built from a rainy curb and a wallet. Haruki, now in a wheelchair, watched it all from the mansion garden. Pride had kept him alive, he'd often say.
You've become everything I hoped. Next week's gala, I'll finally tell the world you're my son.
Only a week remained. Invitations had been sent, the ballroom prepared.
After all these years, the final step. I'll walk onto that stage and tell them the story of a wallet.
The city below shimmered, unaware that its next great philanthropist was about to step into the light. Like a sudden storm, a tabloid headline screamed across the screen. Foundation's dark secret. Millions embezzled under Rika's watch. The article dredged up Rika's old crimes, smearing Haruki's name and accusing the Foundation of negligence.
Now? A week before the gala? Someone's trying to destroy everything we've built.
Within hours, the phones erupted. Major donors, their voices sharp with doubt, demanded explanations.
I understand your concerns. Please give us 24 hours. I'll address every accusation personally.
He hung up, and the silence that followed was louder. Murmurs of canceled sponsorships echoed in the hall.
If donations freeze, the gala is dead, and Haruki's last public act will be a scandal.
He pulled up the old case files on Rika. The evidence was clear, but the public only saw smoke. The clock on the wall ticked mercilessly. Every second brought the gala closer to ruin. He needed a plan, not just to save the Foundation's name, but to protect the man who had given him everything. Kaito didn't sleep. He traced the article's source to an obscure blog, then to IP addresses linked to a former accountant fired for fraud years ago.
This wasn't a random leak. It's a calculated attack by someone with a grudge.
He cross-referenced the doctored ledgers in the article with the Foundation's clean audit records. The forgery was clumsy, mismatched fonts, impossible dates.
Whoever did this didn't even try to hide the fabrications. They expected the public to be too outraged to check.
A quick digital forensics search confirmed it. All fabricated documents originated from the same terminal that once belonged to the former accountant. Kaito compiled a forensic report, digitized the original court transcripts of Rika's confession, and set a press conference for noon.
I'll stand before them and lay the truth bare. No spin, just evidence.
As the press gathered in the Foundation's lobby, Kaito straightened his tie, the flash drive with the evidence heavy in his pocket, a different kind of weight this time.
This is for Haruki. This is for everyone who ever believed in a second chance.
He stepped up to the podium, cameras flashing, the hum of expectation thick in the air. The gala and the legacy now rested on his next words. Kaito began, his voice cutting through the chatter like a blade. Every word was a scalpel, precise and unflinching.
The article you read was built on forged documents. I have brought the originals, the court transcripts, the real ledgers.
He displayed the auditor's report, the clean accounts, Rika's confession. The screens behind him lit with truth.
I won't pretend the past didn't happen, but the Foundation has been clean for 5 years. I stake my life on that. Effective today, an independent transparency board will oversee every yen. The Foundation answers to you now.
A stunned silence held, then crashed into applause. The donors, first skeptical, now rose in solidarity. Phones lit up as major donors publicly recommitted. The scandal was turning into a testament of integrity.
We turned a crisis into our strongest moment. Haruki, we did it.
The press conference became the Foundation's finest hour. By evening, the gala was more anticipated than ever. He looked at the flash drive, the same kind that once carried evidence against Rika, and slipped it into his pocket. The final test lay ahead. 2 days before the gala, Kaito found Haruki in his private suite, the curtains drawn against the afternoon light.
He looks so small now, but his eyes, they're still burning.
Kaito, come closer. I wanted to see you before the chaos begins.
I'm here, sir. Everything is ready for the gala. The scandal is behind us. Your Foundation is stronger than ever.
I saw the press conference on the screen. You stood like a lion. I was so proud. I wept.
Kaito squeezed his hand, his own throat tight. For a moment, neither spoke.
I'm going to make that gala your greatest moment. Not just for me, for every life you've touched.
It's already my greatest moment, because I found you. Just promise me you'll stand on that stage as yourself.
Kaito nodded, unable to speak. They stayed like that until the nurse arrived, the silence louder than any applause. As Kaito left, he carried with him the weight of a promise and the warmth of a father's last blessing. The apartment was quiet. Kaito stood by the window, repeating his speech until the words lost all meaning.
You've said it 100 times, big brother. Even the walls know it by heart.
Every time I say it, I think of Haruki. I can't mess this up.
Aoi rose, holding a small velvet pouch in her hands, the one thing of their parents she had kept.
Before Mom and Dad passed. They left this for us. For luck. I want you to wear it tonight.
She held out a tiny silver crane, its wings worn smooth by years of hope.
They would have been proud. I wish they could see this. I'll wear it. Thank you, Aoi. You're my real lucky charm.
He closed his jacket over the charm. For a moment, the stage before him felt less like a cliff and more like a welcome. Tomorrow he would stand before the world. But tonight, he was just a brother, holding on to the simplest form of hope. The grand ballroom shimmered like a cathedral of light, chandeliers dripping with gold. Kaito stepped out of the sedan, Aoi on his arm. In the front row, Haruki sat in a wheelchair draped with a dark blanket, his eyes sharp despite the frailty.
He came. Even like this, he came. Tonight has to be perfect.
Backstage, the announcer's voice boomed through the curtain. Kaito's hands turned clammy as the world shrank to a single point.
You've faced worse than a crowd, big brother. Just speak from the heart, like you did for me.
The announcer just said my name. All these years, this is it.
He closed his eyes, touched the tiny crane pinned over his heart, and let the noise fall away. He stepped through the curtain. The spotlight swallowed him whole, 1,000 faces turned silent. Haruki's hand rested over his heart. Aoi had tears in her eyes. The moment was theirs.
Good evening. My name is Kaito, and this story begins with a wallet. It was a rainy night, years ago. I was a convenience store clerk, just trying to survive another shift. On the curb, I found a wallet soaked, heavy with 2 million yen in cash and a sleek business card. My coworker urged me to keep it. No one would know, but I thought of my dying sister in a hospital bed. I drove 2 hours through a storm to return it. The man at the mansion offered me a reward, but I couldn't accept. What I didn't know then was that the wallet was a test, one of many that Haruki had placed for years. He was searching for a successor with integrity, and somehow in that storm I passed. Haruki gave me a chance when I had nothing. He saved my sister's life. I owe him everything I am. That's why tonight, I'm honored to announce a new scholarship in his name, for children who need a second chance.
The hall erupted, a wave of applause that rose to the chandeliers. Many faces glistened with tears. Kaito paused, his gaze finding Haruki in the front row. The old man nodded slowly, his eyes wet but proud. A gentle hum arose as Haruki's wheelchair glided onto the stage, pushed by a guard. The spotlight widened.
I have waited 15 years for this. Kaito, you are no longer just my heir. You are the new director of the foundation. And as a symbol of this passage, I give you the key that opened my first office. Let it open all doors for those who need it.
Kaito knelt, his head bowed. The key was cold in his palm, yet it felt like the weight of a promise finally kept.
Rise, Kaito, not as my heir, but as my son.
The audience rose as one, a thunder of hands and hearts. Aoi sobbed quietly into her hands, smiling. Kaito held the key high, his tears falling freely. The sound that filled the hall was not applause, it was history.
This key started with a wallet. Aoi, Haruki, everyone who believed this is for you.
Now, let the gala continue. I believe the new director has a speech to give.
The legend of Kaito had only just begun. But at that moment, with the key in his hand, he had finally arrived.
Aoi, come up here. This moment belongs to you too.
Aoi, trembling, rose from her seat and walked up the steps, her eyes glistening like the chandeliers above. She threw her arms around Kaito, burying her face in his shoulder. The tears that fell were years in the making.
You promised you'd find a way, big brother. You did it. You saved everyone.
Aoi, from the day I met your brother, I knew you were the reason he never gave up. I'd like to present you with this scholarship certificate, not as a charity, but as my deepest gratitude.
Thank you. I'll use this to become a doctor. Just like the ones who saved me. I promise.
The three of them stood together, the tycoon, the clerk, and the girl who nearly died bound by a single wallet. Photographers rushed forward, capturing the image that would define a generation of philanthropy. Laughter and tears mingled as the gala became not just a celebration, but a family's rebirth. The dinner hummed with congratulations, countless hands reaching for Kaito. He nodded, smiled, but his eyes searched the room. He found Haruki by the glass doors, wheelchair turned toward the night sky, a single guard standing at a distance. Kaito stepped outside and wheeled Haruki onto the balcony. The city lights below a river of silent gold.
I've looked at this view 1,000 times, but tonight it feels finished, like a painting that needs no more strokes. I have no regrets, Kaito. Not one. Because I found you. Because your sister lives. That is enough. I can retire now. Truly retire. The foundation has you. It took 15 years, but I finally have a son.
You gave me more than a job, more than money. You gave me the chance to be the man Aoi needed. I'll never stop being grateful.
Haruki pulled him into an embrace. Frail arms, suddenly strong. The city glittered on, but time held its breath. They stood in that silence, The noise of the gala muffled behind glass, as the old weight of the wallet finally dissolved. When they returned to the glittering hall, Kaito was not just the new director. He was a son, and the night was finally his. The morning sun hit the bronze plaque, Director Kaito Sato. He paused, the weight of the title sinking in.
A convenience store clerk. And now this. Haruki, I won't let you down.
He drew a long breath and stepped into the lobby. A glass case on the mantelpiece waited, empty. From his pocket, he took out the old leather wallet, scuffed, rain-stained, the very first test, and placed it inside the glass case.
Everything started with this. It will remind everyone, integrity is the foundation we stand on.
Big brother, I brought you coffee. First day as director, you need the best one in town.
You're here. I thought you had school. This is the best surprise.
They clinked cups and sat on the sofa, the wallet gleaming under the lights, a silent testament.
I'm so proud of you, and I know Mom and Dad are too. You did it.
In that quiet office, the clerk and the girl who almost died sat together as a family, the future finally clear. Months later, Kaito stood before an audience twice the size of the galas. His voice carried without a tremor.
Tonight, I am proud to announce our expansion into 10 new countries. This foundation belongs to everyone who believes in second chances. We started with a single wallet, a test of integrity. Now, we fund hospitals that save lives like my sister Aoi's.
He's become everything I dreamed. My work is truly done.
The audience rose, a tidal wave of applause. The foundation's future had never looked brighter.
That wallet, it found me a son.
Kaito locked eyes with Haruki across the hall and nodded, a silent vow renewed.
He's not just my successor, he's my legacy.
The foundation's new chapter had begun, built on a wallet, a test, and an unbreakable bond. Haruki watched from the shadows of the spotlight, his heart full. The search was over. Years ago, on a rain-soaked curb, a young clerk picked up a heavy leather wallet and made a choice. He was tired, hungry, desperate, but he returned every yen. He didn't know it was a test. Now, in his office, the same wallet sat in a glass case, scuffed and stained, but more valuable than any treasure.
It really did start with a wallet. Everything that came after Aoi's life, Haruki's trust, this foundation, all because I couldn't take what wasn't mine.
He touched the glass, the cool surface bridging the gap between a rainy curb and a legacy of hope. The rain still fell in memory, each drop a reminder of the moment that changed everything.
I almost kept it. One choice, and my whole life would be different. Aoi would be...
But he didn't. And that integrity was the first stone in a foundation that now held up the lives of thousands.
I hope wherever you are, Haruki, you know this was all possible because of you. Rest well.
On a bright Sunday, the park was awash with golden light. Kaito and Aoi strolled along the path, ice cream in hand.
This strawberry scoop is perfect. How's your matcha, big brother?
Too sweet like you. But I'll manage.
I aced my pathology exam this week. Only 2 more years until I'm in a white coat.
2 years. You'll have patients running scared with that ice cream-covered face.
Hey, you're the one who taught me to eat like a normal person again?
They both laughed, the sound blending with the distant chatter of children and rustling leaves.
I'm serious. Without you, I wouldn't be here. You gave up everything for me.
You're the one who fought. I just found a wallet.
They sat in comfortable silence, 2 survivors basking in a life that once seemed impossible. The retirement home's garden was serene, bees hovering over lavender. Kaito spotted Haruki by the tomato vines.
Don't just stand there. These tomatoes need watering, and I'm not as fast as I used to be.
You're still ordering me around, old man. Some things never change.
They settled on the garden bench, a pot of green tea between them. Haruki poured with steady hands.
I read about your new scholarship. Children's Cancer Wing, wasn't it?
We named it after Aoi's old doctor. I thought you'd approve.
Approve, Kaito. I always knew you were the one, from the moment you returned my wallet in the rain. All those tests were just waiting for you to prove what I already sensed.
He's at peace. After all these years, he's finally at peace.
They sat until dusk fell, the scent of lavender settling over a friendship that had changed the world. The new children's hospital wing gleamed under the autumn sun. A small crowd gathered before the ribbon. A bronze plaque beside the entrance bore the words, "Inspired by the wallet that started everything." Kaito knelt to meet a little girl in a hospital gown, her IV stand decorated with stickers.
What's your name? I'm Kaito. I used to be scared of hospitals too. But you know what? This whole wing was built just for brave kids like you.
Her eyes lit up, tiny hands clutching a stuffed bear. She whispered something only he could hear.
I promise, from this day on, every child who comes here will get the same chance my sister did.
He stood and faced the crowd, the plaque glinting behind him like a quiet guardian.
This is why it matters. Not the speeches, but the lives.
The ribbon fell, and the wing opened, a sanctuary built on a single choice, made years ago in the rain. A rainy night, identical to the one from years before. The convenience store sign buzzed in the damp air. Kaito stepped out of a taxi, umbrella in hand, and walked to the corner curb.
This exact spot, right here, everything changed.
The neon reflected in the puddles, the same ghostly glow that had illuminated a desperate young clerk.
I was so scared back then, but I made the right choice.
He crouched, touching the pavement where the wallet had once rested. The rain felt like a baptism.
Aoi is waiting. She always said home was wherever we're together.
He turned his back on the store, umbrella tilted, and walked into the familiar streets. The rain was lighter now, almost gentle, as if the sky finally approved. The wallet was gone, but its legacy echoed in every step he took toward home. Back in his office, Kaito set his umbrella down. The glass case on the mantelpiece still held the worn wallet. Beside it, a framed photograph had been placed that morning. The gala moment, Kaito, Aoi, and Haruki together.
That night felt like a dream. But it was real. We were there.
He traced Haruki's smile through the glass, then Aoi's joyful tears. The wallet, faded but unbroken, completed the picture.
Everything I did led to this, and it was never about the money.
The city lights beyond the window blurred in a gentle rain. The room was silent, full of ghosts and gratitude. A soft knock. Aoi peeked in, her medical books in arm, coffee in hand.
You're still up? Come. I made your favorite. Let's watch the rain together.
Kaito gave the mantelpiece one last look. Then he nodded. Honesty isn't always rewarded right away, but sometimes it changes everything.